Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alyssa Puri Nadira from class 4A PBI, and today for extensive reading course, today I want to retell the story of the book that I have read titled The Darkest Hour by V.C. Andrews. This book is the fifth book from the Cutler family series written by her, and this book is the prequel of the series. This book tells the story of Lillian, the step-grandmother of the main character of the series, Dawn. This story in this book set in the 1910 where Lillian is still young at age. She is adopted into the Booth family, a wealthy family that works in the plantation industry that consists of four people: Ed, the dad, Georgia, the mom, and the daughter, Emily and Eugenia. Emily is an extremely religious girl, while Eugenia suffers from a condition called cystic fibrosis that requires her to use the wheelchair. Emily hates Lillian so much because she thinks Lillian is a bad luck, and that Lillian is adopted because Emily thinks Lillian is cursed, which caused her own mother to die. After hearing this, Lillian goes to Georgia, the mother, and then Georgia confesses that Lillian's mother, Violet, was Georgia's sister that died due to childbirth. And after the death of Violet, Lillian was brought to the Booth family to be taken care of. However, even after Lillian was brought to the Booth family, Emily is so abusive to Lillian and even say that Eugenia got sick because Lillian brought Satan into the house. Unfortunately, not long after, Eugenia died from smallpox due to her weakened body by the disease, cystic fibrosis at such young age. Eugenia and Lillian were very close to each other, and because of this, Emily blamed Lillian for her death. And after Eugenia's death, the mother, Georgia, went into a very great depression. After those unfortunate events, Lillian becomes increasingly isolated at home. She couldn't go to anywhere, she was not allowed to go anywhere. She grew up into teenagehood without ever going to a party or ever preparing for her adulthood. One day, when they were leaving from school, Emily sees Lillian walking together with a boy from her same school named Niles Thompson. This makes Emily very jealous and mad, and that she tells Lillian not to go outside of the house ever again. She doesn't allow Lillian to go to the party, to go to anywhere outside of the house. However, one night, Niles invited Lillian to his sister's party, but because Lillian is not able to go, Niles instead climbs to her room to have a private moment with her. They dance and kiss and have a good time together, and as the night goes dark, Niles finally climbs down to go home. On that night, Lillian sleeps happily after spending time with Niles, but then on the next morning she wakes up and discovers that Niles died on the ground by the window due to him falling from the tree. Because of this, Emily blamed Lillian for his death. During that era, as the Great Depression arrives, the Booth family and the place they own, called the Meadows, is dealing with debts. Once again, Emily blames Lillian for these debts. Ed, the father, began to drink and get drunk a lot due to stress, which caused him to fall down from the stairs and break his leg. He then tells Lillian to take care of him, but because he is drunk a lot, he eventually lost his mind and got Lillian pregnant by the age of 14. Ed, when Ed finds out about this, he panics and denies it. He claims it the baby to be Niles' baby, the boy who died. He then also tries to cover up Lillian's pregnancy by saying that it was Georgia who was pregnant, not Lillian, to protect his family's name. However, just 1 month before Lillian gave birth, Georgia died due to stomach cancer. Because Ed and because Ed and Emily don't want to worry Lillian, they forbid her to see Georgia for weeks. Lillian thought Georgia was just sick, but turns out she has been dead this whole time. Lillian eventually gave birth to a baby girl that she named as Charlotte, but Emily and Ed took Charlotte away from her and told her to call it as her sister instead of her own daughter. Georgia then was buried right after Charlotte was born. The Meadows, which is the place owned by the Booth family, continued to fail as a plantation as the Great Depression grows. And while Ed was gambling to try and winning some money, he lost the plantation rights to Bill Cutler, the owner of the luxurious Cutler Hotel Resort near Virginia Beach. And when Bill visits the plantation place to take care of some things, he notices Lillian and becomes very interested in her, even though she was not acting good to her. Bill then told Ed that instead of taking the plantation rights, he will take Lillian instead. Lillian initially refused because she was not interested with Bill at all. But after many tears and many contemplation, she finally agreed to marry him, at least to leave the Booth family behind once and for all. But when she was about to take Charlotte with her, Ed refused because someone might find out Charlotte is her own daughter, and he was afraid that that discovery might stain his name. So she had to leave the baby behind and move with Bill to the hotel. After Lillian married Bill, she moved to the hotel and becomes the new mistress of the Cultures Cove Hotel. She meets the mother of Bill, but the mother doesn't really like her because Lillian comes from a not so good family who was in debt and grows poor very quickly. But Lillian is very determined to make a name for herself, and she gradually becomes the head of the management of the hotel. She takes care of things and she manages things, she handles things behind the face of her husband, Bill. She does that so that no man will ever control her ever again. Eventually, she gets pregnant with a baby boy she names as Randolph. Lillian doted on him a lot and even brought him everywhere to her work, to everywhere to her meetings and places. However, she still thinks about the meadow, but she can only visit the meadows only once or twice because the place is abandoned and was trashed away because Ed Ed died right after Charlotte was gone due to alcohol and his overwhelming loss from gambling. Lillian finds out that Ed left Charlotte and Emily all alone. Lillian then sends some money to Emily to take care of Charlotte, but she knew that the money was not enough. Despite being wrong so many times and being cheated on by her husband, Lillian was determined to stay strong and made a promise to herself that no one will control her ever again. And that was it of the retail story of Darkest Hour by V.C. Andrews. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.